You want me to put that on my todger?
They couldn't afford the rights. You will be familiar with the fact that the next upcoming clusterfuck involves Harry's wife, and to a lesser extent Harry, purchasing the rights to Carly Fortune's Meet Me at the Lake so that they can produce a film. Naturally, it remains to be seen if they actually get around to it, because they're not well known for exactly applying themselves in that way. Instead, often viewed as lazy. After all, it took Harry's wife nearly 2 years to produce the Arsey Wipes series, and then it was a load of rubbish. So we'll have to see whether they actually get their fingers out and produce something. But moreover, what we have here is the fact that it now transpires that they didn't actually pay for the rights themselves. According to page 6 and an article by Sarah Nathan, Netflix shelled out millions to help Prince Harry and Harry's wife dominate Hollywood. Harry's wife has big plans for Hollywood domination, grandiosity, sense of entitlement, magical thinking, but doesn't want to direct or act anymore. Sources told page 6. The Duchess of Sussex will team up with husband, Prince Harry, to produce Carly Fortune's Meet Me at the Lake for Netflix as part of their multi-million-dollar deal with the streamer, page 6 can confirm. The deal was signed in the past few weeks, and despite initial reports, the Sussexes didn't buy the rights to the book, believed to be worth around $3 million. Instead, Netflix purchased it for them to produce under their Archwell Productions arm, we're told. Thus, they didn't shell out their money, which is becoming a bit of a recurring theme, isn't it, with the Sussexes? After all, their charitable work involves using other people's money, using other people's donations, partnering with other people and hijacking their endeavours and passing it off as something that they have done. Here, Netflix paid for it. Now, might this be they didn't want to pay for it and they said to Netflix, you need to? It's possible. But I think, moreover, given the fact that they're nowhere near as wealthy as they make out, and that they've got significant financial demands upon them, the mortgage on the Monty Shit Show mansion with its 38,000 flushing toilets, the security costs, Harry's wife's expensive taste with regard to ill-fitting couture that doesn't make her look good, and so on and so forth, wanking around in private jets. All of this costs a lot of money, and ultimately, again demonstrating her sense of entitlement and lack of accountability, she's turned to Netflix and said, you need to pay for this. The novel tells the story of a couple who meet in their 30s, just as Harry and Harry's wife did, and has several echoes of the Sussexes' real life, including themes of childhood trauma and losing a parent in a car crash, mental health challenges and postnatal depression, which Harry's wife has spoken about publicly, albeit, more than likely, a pity play. Plus, said the insider, they love love stories and rom-coms. Do they? I'd be interested to know which rom-com Harry's wife would say that she really likes. Indeed, the Sussexes famously wanted to tell their own love story in their 2022 Netflix documentary, Harry and Harry's Wife. I don't think that was so much as telling their own love story, but basically having a go at the royal family and whining all of the time, and then looking around like a pair of amphetamine-fueled meerkats seeking out the paparazzi who just turned out to be a young man delivering a pizza. The couple have been restructuring their team amid the departure of top producer Ben Browning. Another individual who's fucked off, who was the head of internal content at Archwell Productions and oversaw the documentary. Page 6 can also reveal they have parted ways with their talented senior vice president of scripted television, Nishika Kumbal. She lasted less than 2 years in the role. Probably thought, my God, if I have to spend another day listening to that quarter wit come up with ideas. You can imagine you might have seen the infamous scene involving Alan Partridge when he's pitching ideas to, I think, the head of light entertainment or a controller for one of the BBC channels. It's absolute television gold. He kept throwing suggestions forward, such as arm wrestling with Chaz and Dave, inner city sumo, knowing ME, knowing you, where he basically talked to ME sufferers, youth hosteling with Chris Eubank, and monkey tennis. All preposterous ideas, but you can well imagine that Harry would probably sit there coming up with such ridiculous ideas also. And of course, Harry's wife would similarly put forward ridiculous suggestions which would all revolve around basically her, talking about herself, talking about things that she believes are important, but many other people would find would send them into a catatonic state. So it's no surprise that another person will have departed because they would have got sick and tired of putting up with these numbskulls and their ridiculous ideas. And of course, you can well imagine that Harry's wife, with her need for control, would be interfering repeatedly in what was going on, frustrating those people who are actual experts and professionals. Page 6 continues by explaining the Monty Shit Show California-based pair have been slammed after losing their Spotify deal. With many gossiping, they are on the verge of losing their Netflix deal too. Asked whether Harry's wife has missed Hollywood, a friend said, "I'm not sure you can miss Hollywood when you're one of the most famous women in the world." Another Hollywood insider told us, "If you make money in Hollywood, you're taken seriously." With Harry's wife having signed with Ari Emanuel's powerhouse talent agency WME in May, although here we are 3 months later and what's it produced? Lots of pap walks and little else. A source has told Page 6 that she and Harry have a lot of logs in the fire. Harry, you dirty boy, you've been taking dumps in the fireplace again. And production is one piece of the pie. It's not all entirely shaped by Ari. They've had the deal with Netflix for a while. Everyone has criticised them, but they now have the right team and vision in place. Right, so I'm pleased that I dare say that the previous agents are really pleased with that, and that Ben Browning and Nishika Kumbal are delighted to hear that following their departure, they've got the right team in place. It's a little bit similar, isn't it, to Harry's wife and her reinventions and reincarnations. Now we've got the right people. Now it's going to work. It's not. And do you know why? Because so many people have seen through her. So many people do not like her. And she's not going to be able to turn it around. The source claimed Harry's wife's not doing a Reese Witherspoon or making acquisitions for herself, referring to the latter's Hello Sunshine production company, which has turned several books into film or TV projects. She doesn't want to direct or act. Someone who knows the couple told Page 6 that Harry's wife wants to be like a combination of famous women. A bit of Reese, a bit of Gwyneth Paltrow, a bit of Princess Kate, a bit of Gloria Steinem. I can hear Lou Bega, Mambo No. 5 forming in my head as I hear all of that. But of course, seen through the lens of her narcissism, what is that, valuable viewers? Correct. It's character trait acquisition. There is no sense of self, so she has to take from elsewhere for the purposes of making herself seem like she's interesting. The fact is, they didn't have the money to acquire the rights. Netflix have done so, and it demonstrates what a laughable duo they are. Let's see what the sentiments below the line are. Rudy C. So their first PR is, we bought the rights to this book. Now that turns out to be a lie. Netflix bought it and is giving it to them as a project to develop. Based on their track record, we will still be waiting for this film 3 years from now, and it will be everyone else's fault that it wasn't made. Rudy C. has the measure of them there. Tony J. Netflix purchased it for them to produce under the Archwell Productions arm. That's pretty funny. These two couldn't squeeze out their weak podcast without major help and pressure from others. Producing a movie sounds like a humongous undertaking to me, with two people who appear to be in way over their heads. Meanwhile, Netflix is watching the clock tick, tick, tick away, down to the end of their contract in 2025, when they can drop those two like a hot potato. LDJ. I can't understand why Netflix chooses to waste their money on these two when there are so many other talented individuals out there. They have yet to prove they have a talent for anything other than playing the victim and attacking their families and those who criticise them. Entirely accurate. Common sense. Well, she has shown she cannot direct, and acting is definitely not a strong suit. Ho ho! See what you did there. Producing is a whole different ball game for which I don't think she's prepared for. I totally doubt she wants to be like Princess Kate, especially given the hateful vitriol she's thrown in her direction. Glad I don't have a subscription to Netflix, as I see them wasting money on a daily basis and could end up in a financial mess. Ice it as it is. Reportedly, staffers did the heavy lifting while Harry's wife inserted her taped questions, replacing those asked by the staffers for her podcast. How much work she did, if any, is unclear, but the comments by Spotify pointed to very little. We won't forget her comment as a working royal that she doesn't get paid for doing this work. She was so wrong. Now Harry's wife and Harry are not liked here or across the pond, and she's not welcome in England and not embraced here in the United States. The fake reports about a high-speed chase in New York, etc. were not accepted. What brand would sign Harry's wife? Her A-list friends might buy something out of loyalty, but the rest of the horde would avoid all brands. Alicia G responds, what A-list friends? Just report she's friends with Travolta and Ellen's wife. If there isn't papped pics, it's a lie. Jew writes, Netflix keeps wasting dollars on these two and the monthly costs keep rising. This is why I'm dumping Netflix. This will be another colossal flop that will take years to come to fruition, if ever. Netflix should spend more wisely. Knight 3136. So let me get this straight. Netflix bought the rights, will be paying to make the movie, and they just have to add their names and take a check from Netflix. I'm glad I haven't been a Netflix customer in 4 years. Keep wasting money. No support for them whatsoever. People see them for what they are. Talentless grifters once again. And ones without much money, it would seem. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.